And welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Illegal Formation here on the Inside Edge Network. I am not Chad Bryan, as you probably could guess by the voice. I am one Eli Moon filling in for Chad Bryan. And I am blessed to have, of course, your mainstay here of Illegal Formation, the one, the only, TK Dandridge with me. We'll bring us to the screen here so you can see all of our smiling faces. Look at that. TK and I, we are ready to rock. Probably the only smile you'll see throughout this entire hour. We got a lot of hard-hitting Cleveland Browns stuff to get into here in just a moment, but thank you all for tuning on in again. Here with you another Monday. Football is in the air. We are in week 3, heading into week 3 of the preseason. The Browns played the Patriots, but that's not what everybody's too concerned about, TK. We'll get into all that in just a moment. If you are here for the first time, hello. If you haven't been here before, well, if you haven't been here before, yeah, hello. If you've been here before, welcome back. Like, subscribe, follow Inside Edge Net on all the socials. Make sure you smash that notification bell so you know when we're going live. YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. 4 daily shows, including the evening stream tonight. It starts just a few minutes before 8 o'clock, the Daily Spiral with Autumn Chisholm. Then 9 o'clock on Filter with Kyle Cornell. 10 o'clock, Inside Edge Primetime. Chad will be back. Chad and I, he's taking care of some things right now. And then, of course, at 11:30, Midnight Round with Anthony Alford. You can read about all your favorite personalities like TK Dandridge and everybody. Does a great job at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Go ahead, check out our partners page. Cannot do without our title sponsor, The Brothers Lounge on 11609 Detroit Avenue on the border of Cleveland and Lakewood. Great live music all week long. Great food from Chef Win and Winning Bites. Burgers, wings, nachos, fries. Can't go wrong. Great hospitality. Billy and the staff there do a tremendous job. So we appreciate Billy, appreciate the Brothers Lounge, the title sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, and, of course, our other partners as well, Fanatics.com, MaileyRoseFragrances.com, Monstermoments, SportsMemorabilia.com, W Energy, and Omega Video Marketing. Appreciate all of them. And appreciate you. So go grab something nice from the merchandise store. A shirt, a hat, a mug, a polo, windbreaker. Rep Cleveland's digital leader, your source for sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, and everything in between. And take us on the road. You see it there. Near or far, here we are. Inside Edge Network app on Roku. Take us with us. Take us with you. How about that? All right, TK. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Ain't nothing really to hide from here. The Cleveland Browns had an announcement to make earlier today. And they made that announcement before it was obviously reported. Adam Schefter, Jordan Schultz all over it before Monken hit the podium, but he did hit the podium, and he went over this, that the Cleveland Browns have announced that Deshaun Watson will be their starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Monken has mentioned this will not be a week-by-week thing, that this will be ideally the plan for the season to roll out Deshaun Watson. Now, those who aren't familiar with Watson and his contract here in Cleveland, he's eligible to be cut June 1st of next year, and then the Browns can avoid the rest of that contract. But they kind of were in a situation with all the words last week from I don't care to how he really did care and the play, everything like that, TK. To go into this now that he's a starting quarterback of the team, I know cutting didn't seem like much of an option with how much cap that would be there, but there had to be better options than this. How are you feeling about Deshaun Watson in the year 2026 starting for our Cleveland Browns?
Well, to be quite honest, I wasn't surprised at all from the verdict. This was a narrative that was pushed before the draft. I definitely want to say it picked up some steam in free agency. That Deshaun Watson would possibly be coming back. Is this a good thing for us? Obviously, from the outside looking in right now, it doesn't look too well. But if you're going to be honest with yourself, I really don't think either one of those guys really ran away with the QB job.
Yeah.
You say that Deshaun Watson was solid before the fumble in Chicago. But then you see what he did Saturday night against the Buffalo Bills, and you're just like, okay, how was that supposed to make me feel secure any way, shape, or form whatsoever?
Right.
Because that just did not do it for me. I don't think it did it for anybody in the fan base who watched that game Saturday and just went away saying, "Oh my goodness, Deshaun Watson's going to be the guy week 1." That was not. I performance based. I didn't think that was going to be the verdict at all. I really didn't think it was going to be the verdict at all. I honestly thought by Todd saying, "Hey, Monday, August 24th, I'm going to give you guys a QB1 review." bit too early. Dare I say a bit too early. Because I don't think anybody pulled away from the competition at all. Sure, you got a good half of football out of Deshaun Watson week 1 of the preseason. You got a good half of football out of Shedeur Sanders, despite the interception against the Bills on Saturday night. But at the same time, I think both quarterbacks had bad performances. Okay, they took turns. They took turns each week. Showing the good, showing the bad. Quite a bit of bad there still. You still want to see how the chemistry overall throughout the receiving corps gets with Deshaun Watson, basically with anybody who plays. But more importantly, obviously Deshaun Watson and or Shedeur Sanders, and you want them to get as much continuity with this receiving corps as you possibly can. But for this news overall, I'm just obviously a little bummed by it. We thought that Shedeur would be the right choice, obviously, heading into this season, especially with the 2027 quarterback class looking like it's going to be somewhat legendary. I think we say this at the beginning of every season.
Yeah.
That we end up, regretting saying that overall. But I do think that the 2027 quarterback class is going to be a very solid one. The stuff of legends, obviously, that remains to be seen. But I do think it will be a solid class nonetheless, that we could possibly get our guy there if Shedeur or our new starter, Deshaun Watson, does not pan out this year.
Yeah.
But, overall, I'm not surprised, not shocked, but kind of bummed by this overall.
Yeah. I can understand TK, and a lot of people are frustrated because this is the guy that we have spent a ton of money, not us personally, but the city of Cleveland. Jimmy Haslam has spent a ton of money investing into this guy, and I think what's thrown off a lot of people is, yes, you're going to have the poor play. That has been a given pretty much since he's been here, if he's available. 19 games that he has played in as a Cleveland Brown. Week 1 will be the 20th regular season he has played. So that'll be a with 17 games, that'll be a regular season and 3 games that he has played for the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is very rare, at least to this point in terms of network history, and we'll get more of that, of course, in the future. But I have, TK, some video courtesy of one Eli Moon. I was at the Browns game on Saturday, and I want to show you this. I want to show you, and everybody out there watching, the reaction to Deshaun Watson when they hit the field. They announced Deshaun Watson. I'm going to play, it's about a 10 to 15 second clip here. I'm going to play this, TK, and then I have a question to come back after this video. But here we go. I'm going to show you just courtesy of Eli Moon of the Inside Edge Network. This is Deshaun Watson entering the game and being announced to the Cleveland faithful on Saturday afternoon.
Now the quarterback for the Browns, number 4, Deshaun Watson.
TK, my goodness, bud. I got to be honest with you. That being in that stadium, which, mind you, 25 to 30% full, maybe. I know there's rain and other stuff that was factors into that. 25 to 30% full, and to hear just the raucous of boos. And you heard a few, let's go, trying to rally the troops. But those even turned into, by the second, third drive, boos and get off the field and whatnot. I guess my question to you, TK, we talked about the football aspect of it, but as a Clevelander, somebody who I know you love Cleveland, somebody that is a Cleveland guy through and through, the words that were spoken by Deshaun Watson on Wednesday about not caring about what the fans had to say about him, and then Saturday calling it a disrespectful reaction by the fans and it's personal and things like that, how do you feel as a Clevelander having Deshaun Watson, at least for week 1, representing the Cleveland Browns going into 2026?
First, before I answer that, I just wanted to say this real quick.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy, do they hate his ass. Good Lord. As soon as the cat stepped on the field, my goodness. You hear the Bulls raining in before the PA announcer even said a damn word. But overall, listen, man. It's really a mess. I understand. As a football fan who has been around this game for almost 25 years now, I understand that the fans do not dictate what success is for the football team.
Right.
We are not the ones that are in charge of the big decisions that need to be made for this team to be successful and for this team going forward in general. However, you have a guy that has not had the most fruitful stay and who undoubtedly despises this fan base. And hey, we can say whatever the hell it is that we want to about the money. The money is his. That ink dried 5 years ago, damn near.
Right.
All right, we can say whatever we want about the money. We made an obligation to him and for us to do what we did to him in 2024. I get it. The past, obviously, the situation that got him in hot water in the first place and why Houston felt that, this is time to move on anyway. Got to move past that. I do understand it's always going to stay there. It's always going to remain there. We're always going to remember him by that. We're always going to think he's one of the freakiest SOBs in American history, regardless of how you spin it. Anyway, I just think to have a guy that visibly hates your franchise, leading your franchise out there in week one, is probably the stupidest damn thing you could probably do. I understand that they want us to believe that this is from a winning standpoint. At this point, I really don't even know who to blame because this smells like a James Haslam move all the way. I think Andrew Berry may even have some input on this as well. But for this to be your first big move 3 weeks before the season, if that, Todd, it ain't looking good at all. If this does not work, you will be back at Division III college football very swiftly.
And that's what I'm a little concerned about, TK, is you have Todd Monken, who's definitely catching the brute of this, right? Like, the brute force of Cleveland fans and national media. When it comes to Todd Monken, it scares me because I use the Cavaliers comparison a little bit here when Kenny Atkinson essentially hitched his wagon to James Harden and said, I'm on the James Harden train. He's the best ISO defender I've ever seen in my life. Whatever. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. You get the point. When he did that, I said, Atkinson is with Harden. Whatever happens with this Harden stuff is how Kenny Atkinson will either be remembered as a great coach in Cleveland or another guy that bit the dust because he really bet on the wrong guy. Not bet. Now, I know that's a very touchy word right now with sports, betting. We're talking metaphorically. He bet on James Harden to get him, to the promised land, and it didn't work out. That's my thing with Todd Monken is if this is Monken, Double A's brought it up on Midnight Run and across the network. If it is Monken that maybe had a plan for Deshaun Watson and that's why he has this job, how much does this fall on him? Whether it is or isn't his decision ultimately, how much does this fall on him, like you mentioned? And then how much does this fall on Andrew Berry? This is a guy in Andrew Berry that's had 2 great drafts. One that played on the field well, one that's on paper, and we'll see what they look like so far through preseason, looking pretty good. How does that look to those guys, and what does that mean for their future? You kind of already hinted with Monken, but I'd imagine Andrew Berry has put his seat right back into the warmth level it was before last year. And this is, a disaster waiting to happen. We could really see. I've been very adamant in saying Andrew Berry, if they go with Deshaun Watson and it doesn't work out, you have to get rid of him. He's literally the only other guy you can get rid of from that Deshaun Watson trade front office. Stefanski's gone. Everybody else is gone. DePodesta, everybody's gone. Andrew Berry's still here. So I think you have to look at that. But do you believe that it could be a situation, even if they trot him out for 3 or 4 weeks and it blows up in their face? But let's say they can't get because here's my other fear, that you trot out Shedeur Sanders after 3 or 4 weeks of Deshaun looking poorly, which I believe will be the case. And then it's an uphill battle, and you're never going to find the footing you were hoping to get at week 1, 17 games with the same starter. Do you believe both could be gone at the end of the season at that point with Monken and Barry if this thing goes to how most Browns fans are expecting and looking pretty bad?
Oh yeah, I definitely think that is a big possibility. Listen, man, all that Clint Eastwood get off my lawn energy that Todd Monken exudes up at that podium during basically all this offseason and all the training camp. That don't mean a damn thing to anybody anymore, especially after this decision that he's made Monday morning. Right now, I think he is in a little bit of a limbo, and he is in significant jeopardy. I ain't even gonna worry about the fans right now. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not, because I'm sure that every NFL coach is, they know the fans are there, but hey, the fans do not pay me. The fans do not know exactly what it is that goes on with this football team at all time. Yeah, you guys have been in training camp. You guys get to see a show, right before we get into preseason, this, that, and the other, to see what we've been working on. But overall, y'all don't know what's going on here. Y'all don't know that at all. But at the same time, to make this decision so quickly after what you've seen after the first 2 weeks, Todd had every opportunity in the world to not only show the organization, but to show everyone that brand of Clint Eastwood energy that he exuded every day was absolutely genuine. And he could have made that decision for himself to say, hey, listen, man, I didn't make that check. You jerks gave me $15 million over 3 years to coach this damn team. Mm-hmm. Damn team that won 8 games in 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's what you give me. You're worried about $230 million that you wasted on somebody else foolishly. And you refuse to pull the Band-Aid. I understand. $86 million dead cap hit next year if he is released before June 1st, 2027. Mm-hmm. So I get it. Screwed. I understand that. However, if you really think, after what the hell you saw these first 2 weeks of preseason, garners him the week 1 starting job, you're one of the most remedial SOBs on the planet. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I get it, TK, and it's frustrating because there was so much hope and optimism about Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, Harold Fan, and Quinshon Judkins. All of these guys that are not only, if they're not rookies, they're second-year guys. And now Isaiah Bond, thank you. Luke Floria, for that matter. You have guys there that could really, really be impactful. And I explained it yesterday on Main Event. It's like having a leg, or a part of the body. Choose, whatever. It could be your arm if you want it to be, I guess. But you have a part that's infected, severely infected. And if you continue to leave it on the rest of your body, your whole body is going to get infected. And usually when your whole body gets infected with a pretty bad sickness like that, that's the game over. So that's what the Browns are at a point right now. And I said yesterday, they need to cut the leg off. Or arm, if you're more, arm person, I guess, out there, cut the arm off, cut the leg off, get rid of it before it infects the rest of the body. Because now we have a real significant issue, TK, where it comes into culture and winning culture. We always talk about it. Jarvis Landry has obviously one of the most notable Browns quotes of all time. When it's contagious, but it's real and it's true. It is contagious. Winning's contagious. Losing is contagious. Bad atmospheres are contagious, and so are good atmospheres. And Deshaun Watson, with the comments he's mentioned and made, and then with the play that matches that, and again, earlier on in practice did not look good. Had a few shiny moments, but out of place, out of sorts, behind the 8 ball. Seems like he's letting plays develop and then trying to squeeze it in there. Like he's 2018 Deshaun Watson. It's just not going to happen. I just don't feel good about it, TK. And I don't feel good about the rest of this offense. This was an offense I was very excited about. And now it's hard to feel like they're going to make a ton of progress because of all the variables we've already mentioned. Watson being behind the 8 ball and really a shell of himself at this point, but also the fan base is not going to accept him in any home game. No matter what he said with his PR answer earlier today, we played it obviously in the breaking news coverage, but we are not taking that as fans. I know Browns fans will not take that PR response. They're going to remember what he said Saturday. So now you have a raucous crowd. You're learning a new offense for a lot of these young guys. I just am a little concerned about that because you can impact them a little bit, and I don't want to see that be the case. We've seen it, and I know I give Corey Coleman a lot of crap because he wasn't very good here, but you almost wonder what some of those guys look like under a better culture. Corey Coleman came into a team that was really already a losing mentality, a losing team, and then they go and they have the 1-15, or excuse me, yeah, the 1-15, and then they have you 0-7 or 0-16. I mean, at this point, my goodness. So I guess that's my concern, and I'm curious your thoughts on that because this is an offense that has a lot of great offensive weapons. The line is starting to get a few short pieces there with Fano settling in and otherwise. Are you concerned this could affect the culture of this team at this point?
Overall, yes. I do think this could be a hinder in our culture, so to say. I will say that this is a completely different group of guys than when Deshaun last took the football field in 2024.
Right.
So I do think a majority of the bad feelings towards Deshaun Watson in the locker room are just about gone.
Okay.
So you won't have to worry about whether the offensive line is going to protect for him or not, or whether wide receivers are snaking their routes or just dropping the football on purpose. I don't really think you're going to have to worry about that because they don't have that particular vendetta against Deshaun Watson. But at the same time, I want to talk about Deshaun Watson, the player. This is clearly not the same guy from 2020 when he led the NFL in passing. He has had a shoulder surgery. He has had 2 Achilles tears. Before he suited up for the Cleveland Browns, before he touched an NFL game or touched an NFL field ever again after 2020, was almost 3 full calendar years later. His football story has very thick, insatiable gaps in there. So, you think from obviously being the 12th overall selection in the 2017 NFL draft, when we flipped that first round pick that we had to Houston, the first bit of our weird ass Cleveland Houston connection or relationship or whatever the hell you want to call it. But that was the very first domino in that whole thing, was when we initially gave the pick to Houston to draft Deshaun Watson in the first place. And obviously he had the solid rookie season before blowing his knee out then. So, yeah, you have to add that as well. This is a guy whose football journey has very insatiable holes within it due to injury, due to legal trouble, whatever you want to put in there. So, now at this point in his career, as a 31-year-old former pocket passer who has a little bit of mobility, but at the same time blew that Achilles out twice.
Right.
He tore his ACL the very first year of his NFL career, and I came back from that very well. But what about everything else? Like I said, this man is 31. It's not going to go up from here unless he has some type of HGH regimen that we do not know about, that he is going about on his day-to-day basis. And I don't even think that will be enough to save it without him getting caught for doping. So, I don't see it. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but if anyone sees some type of redemption arc for number 4, I sure as hell would love to see it for myself, because I don't really see that happening this year or any other year after this.
Sure doesn't feel like it, TK. Sure doesn't feel like it. And the Browns are, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, if you haven't heard this before, but the Browns are once again in a quarterback mess. And we are not even into September yet, and we already have it. So that's what we're working with. We're going to take a quick pause here, though. I got more thoughts. I want to hear TK's thoughts. You heard from me earlier today with Robert Zicki. I want to get some more thoughts from TK Dandridge here on illegal formation. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders when we come back. What does this mean for Shedeur Sanders and some of these young guys in that quarterback room? What does it mean for the Browns' plans? We hinted at it a little bit. What does it mean for 2027? Like, what exactly are the Browns planning for? Is Todd Monk and Andrew Berry, are they going to be in those plans? What exactly does Jimmy Haslam have planned? Sometimes it almost will do us better if we don't think about what he has planned, because then we can have a little more peace in our mind until it happens and we can get frustrated. All that to be said, this is a legal formation. Chad Bryan is out taking care of some things. I'm filling in. I'm Eli Moon. That's TK Dandridge. Am I right? You're right. Everybody's right. He's rocking with you every Monday. So I appreciate him for rocking with me. I appreciate all you for rocking with both of us here on the Inside Edge Network. There's a legal formation. We're back talking more Browns. Shedeur, the rest of this team, the young guys, and what exactly their plans are for this year and next. Back after this.
Looking for an iconic Cleveland music venue that features premier entertainment, spirits, and food? Well, look no further than the Brothers Lounge. They offer a variety of live entertainment acts weekly, along with a diverse selection of beer, wine, and fine spirits, not to mention Chef Wynn's food menu, which has been crafted with traditional American fare with a modern twist. So come on out and enjoy the warm hospitality and make some new friends right here in your backyard. For more information, head over to brotherslounge.com and check them out for yourself at 11609 Detroit Road. That's right near the border of Cleveland and Lakewood. The Brothers Lounge, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Please support the new Inside Edge Network by liking, subscribing, and following us on your favorite social media platforms. It's at Inside Edge Net across Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, X, and IG. And don't forget to download our new app over on Roku. And as always, thank you for supporting your favorite shows on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader for news, talk, sports, entertainment, and mental health. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to InsideEdgeNetwork.com under our Partners section to find our link to check out all of what Fanatics has to offer. Fanatics, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 different flavors to choose from. Order Dubby Energy right now and find out more information by checking out our partners page on InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Also, use that promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles made with clean, minimal ingredients. Every product thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Hand-poured coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks to offer long-lasting burn and rich fragrance. Find out more about Alley Rose Fragrances by checking out their link on our partners page at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Dine, drink, and dance at the premier spot in town. It's time to check out all of what our friends over at the Brothers Lounge have to offer. Everything from weekly live entertainment, a wide variety of different beers, wines, and spirits, and an expertly crafted American fare menu with a twist courtesy of Chef Wynn that'll make your mouth water. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to the Brothers Lounge at 11609 Detroit Road or check out their website, brotherslounge.com, to learn more about what you've been missing out on. Brothers Lounge, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autograph by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source for authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease, thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com Lifetime Authenticity Guarantee. Check out SportsMemorabilia.com by heading over to the Partners page on our website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. SportsMemorabilia.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. They offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances, perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you and your special someone. Learn more about all Alley Rose Fragrances has to offer right now by clicking the link on our partner page at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. First-time customers use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Monster Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northeast Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more by checking out Monster Moments Photography's link on our partners page at the InsideEdgeNetwork.com website. Monster Moments Photography, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, we have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Thank you for your support from all of us here at the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader for news, talk, sports, entertainment, and mental health.
And welcome back to Illegal Formation here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan taking care of some business. So I'm filling in. I'm Eli Moon. And I'm happy because I'm here with my guy. Usually, Chad be sitting to his left, and he'd be over to his right. Your right, everybody's right. But he's still there. Don't worry. It's TK Dandridge, everybody. He is back rocking and rolling. We're going to dive into some more Cleveland Brown stuff. Because my goodness, did they shake the NFL world today when they announced Deshaun Watson will be the starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We heard it from the lips of Todd Monken, as it was reported earlier in the morning. It's official, TK. My goodness almighty. We have some questions when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Now, The question I have for you as we come back from break, and hello to everybody, if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow at Inside Edge Net on all the socials at Inside Edge Net. Make sure you, of course, you go to InsideEdgeNetwork.com, read about your favorite personalities. Check out our partners page. Of course, the title sponsor, The Brothers Lounge on 11609 Detroit Avenue, border of Cleveland Lakewood. Great food, great music, great hospitality. Go check out Chef Win and Winning Bites. Get a burger, wings, fries, nachos, and check out the great establishment that is Brothers Lounge, one of the great venues here in Cleveland, Ohio, host of the Moon Bash. Moon Bash back with you, of course, next year, July 31st. It'll be at Brothers Lounge, so we appreciate them, the title sponsor of Inside Edge Network. And, of course, go grab something nice at the merchandise store, whether it's a shirt, a hat, a mug, a polo, a windbreaker. Rep Cleveland's digital leader and your source for sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, and everything in between. We got TK back, don't worry. And, of course, make sure you take us near or far on the Inside Edge Network app on Roku. Here we are. All right, TK. We have some stuff to get into here. Of course, we have the evening stream coming up in about 20-ish, 30-ish minutes or so. So don't worry for all you out there. We're going to have so much more coverage for you. But I got to ask TK this as I bring the music down. Chad will usually laugh at me and be like, hey, you know the music's still playing? Yeah, I know the music's still playing. I like the music playing every now and then, buddy. All right? But I got some questions for you. And I think the one that's on my mind the most is with all this being said, the quarterback room looking the way it is with Deshaun Watson now the starter. There's questions that you mentioned, the 2027 quarterback class. And I do like a few names there. Dante Moore out of Oregon. There's a few other guys that stand out. They could go another route, too. What does this mean for Shedeur Sanders in the future of the Cleveland Browns? Is the quarterback of the future still on this roster? Because we know it's not Deshaun Watson. More than likely, he's cut, regardless of what happens this year, June 1st. So what exactly are the Browns planning at quarterback? If you're not going to give Shedeur 17 games, is he still the guy, TK? Or should we start centering our focus to finding the quarterback in 2027?
Well, you would think the general consensus would be if the Browns aren't willing to give Shedeur 17 games that he wouldn't be the guy. However, I do think if Deshaun Watson is that bad, especially in these first few weeks of the season, I do think that Shedeur does have an opportunity to play himself into another quarterback battle in 2027. Granted, if he lights the world on fire, say if he gets in week 4, week 5, and, basically just lights it up, depending on how well he plays and how well the team does, will he be considered for the starting job in 2027, regardless of the pick that the Browns may have. Now, I do believe if that pick falls outside of the top 10, the focus will definitely change on the position. I even think that if it falls out of the top 5, like it did just this past season, that the focus will change as to who the top priority is going to be. I definitely think they want that pick to be, if not number 1, then at least in the top 5 to be able to take one of those top few guys in 2027. But if that isn't the case, then I do think that the focus will shift. However, we still have to think of when Shedeur will be put in to the game, and will the Browns feel comfortable rolling forward with him for the rest of the 2026 campaign? I don't know when that's going to be. None of us do. We're thinking, week 3, week 4, possibly, at the absolute latest, week 6. But that still remains to be seen. We're not really sure yet, and especially with the talent that we have on this roster. Right now, I don't want to say that this is a loaded roster because depth is an issue. Anyone who saw these past 2 preseason games would realize our reserves struggled mightily in both of those games. You think halftime in Chicago, it's 10 up. Halftime in Cleveland and Baltimore, you just given up a touchdown in the half, but it was still 14-7. For both of those games to end up as monumental, satirical ass beatings is very telling to the lack of depth that this Browns team has. However, I do like our starters for the most part.
Yeah.
Like you said, we do have a lot of young talent on this team. Obviously, Quinshon Judkins was our leading rusher last year. Obviously, everyone is buzzing about the trio of Isaiah Bond, Denzel Boston, and Casey Concepcion. A little British broadcasting channel for you there. I'm not going to say the other thing. We're on air. Anyway, I do think this football team is loaded with exciting talent. Obviously, Harold Fannin Jr. was disrespected by ESPN earlier this year by being ranked the 19th best tight end. I do understand it was just his first year, but I don't see 18 tight ends better than him. I just don't. I barely see 10, but, I could be a homer. I could be biased. So we're not going to get into that right now. However, I do think the continuity of this offensive line is going to play a huge factor into whoever the hell steps behind center, not just Deshaun Watson. I do love the play of Spencer Fano in the preseason. Preseason is definitely heartwarming to see how much of a mauler this guy has become. They've been giving him all types of hell in training camp and in the offseason, just pushing those buttons, trying to see, what kind of dog is laying behind there. And I get it. Every player's got to go through it, especially, with a franchise that really needs it. Yeah, Spence, we really need that dog up front. That was what we were missing on that offensive line. Not that we didn't have good players. They were just old and declining, and we were losing a lot of power along that offensive line. A lot of guys were out there playing hurt. Joe Batonio and Wyatt Teller, specifically. Ethan Posich had his injury problems as well. So we need that dog to be in there to add that power, to stay healthy, and to keep the quarterback healthy as well. So I'm glad that Spencer Fano is going to be a part of that. Obviously, Titus Howard is the other bookend tackle. Didn't see too much of him in the preseason, but I expect the world out of him as well. A guy that didn't give up a single sack last season. I am expecting God-tier work from him. I definitely think we have decided on the guards. It's going to be Zion Johnson and Tevin Jenkins. A little bit worried about how Tevin's going to do as a full-time starter. Not going to panic just yet. We're going to wait and see how things go into the season. Zion Johnson was a guy that struggled in pass protection for the majority of his NFL career with the Los Angeles Chargers. However, was only credited with allowing 3 sacks last year. I expect more of the same this year. And obviously, having a Pro Bowl guy like Elton Jenkins, who's played all across the offensive line, the 21st century black Bruce Matthews, if you will, for Elton Jenkins, that's going to be a wonderful guy to have at the pivot position. I do think that these guys can cohese together well and provide a great unit, at least top half type of unit as far as offensive line goes. But again, we will see. We'll see how that pans together. I do think this team has the talent to win at the very least 6 games this year. I do think the talent is there, a little bit better from last year, especially offensively. I know for the longest time, scoring points was the biggest dilemma that we've had. It was our biggest conundrum so far. I do think we have the talent to fix that. But obviously the guy behind center is going to be the biggest part of that equation. And we still don't know how that's going to pan out yet. It's kind of scary, man.
It sure is, TK. There's a lot of question marks still on that offensive line, and ultimately, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to the future of this team. When it comes to who is the quarterback next year? Is it somebody that's not even on this roster right now? Who stays on this line? Who earns their keep in Cleveland and can stay here a little bit longer? We know Fano obviously invested as a first-round draft pick, but who else can be invested here in Cleveland? And build towards hopefully a promising offense and defense and a young roster that just has one glaring problem with a lot of fans. That is the quarterback position. And Deshaun Watson is, if you missed it earlier today, Todd Monken announced after reports from Adam Schefter, Jordan Scholes, it was announced by Monken that Deshaun Watson will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. My goodness. All right, here's what we're going to do here, folks. We are going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to come back and put a bow on this thing. You're going to hear just a quick word of where you can grab all your cool stuff at the Inside Edge Network, and we'll come back. We'll ask TK his final thoughts. I'll have a few final thoughts, and then we'll get out of your hair for a moment. And when you see me later, I'll be on Prime Time with Chad Bryan. He'll be back rocking and rolling. The evening stream starts at 8 o'clock with Autumn Chisholm and Double Anthony out for the Daily Spiral. But here, just a quick word from us, the Inside Edge Network, and we're back with final thoughts here on Illegal Formation.
Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, we have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Thank you for your support from all of us here at the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader for news, talk, sports, entertainment, and mental health.
And we are back here on Illegal Formation. It is, like I said, just a quick pause here for the cause. We're going to come on right back to us. TK Dandridge and I, we're going to put a bow on this thing. TK, this is the time where I'm just going to, whatever you want to get off your chest. It could be about Browns related. We talked a lot about the Cleveland Browns, obviously Cleveland's digital leader. It could be something NFL related, but give me your final thoughts and give the people your final thoughts here on this Monday edition of Illegal Formation.
Back at the end of January earlier this year, when Todd Monken had first received the head coaching job, I had labeled it publicly as an effort hire. I was very, very adamant about that. I definitely thought it was something that didn't make too much sense. I get that they say he was the first guy that he interviewed, and I do believe it. I do believe it to a certain extent. But at the same time, it just seemed like they did a whole lot of extra theatrics, with the Nathan Shieldhouse and the Grant Udinsky jabs. I didn't appreciate that much at all, especially, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, they're not going to hire either one of these guys. But skip all the way to August 24th, which is today. Monken makes the decision to make Watson the starting quarterback. Now I think everybody is on the fence about the credibility of Todd Monken, whether or not he made the right decision, whether or not this is going to play into his head coaching career in the NFL, whether it's going to last that long or not due to this one decision. I really don't want to do that to the guy. I know he was very adamant on being one of the 32 in the NFL, and he is. I hope it does last a while. If not here, then possibly somewhere else, but I do hope that it works out here. At the same time, I do think this has a little bit of Jimmy Haslam stink over it, and obviously all of us understand why. By far the richest bench warmer in professional sports since Gilbert Arenas when he was with the Washington Wizards after he had inked that 6-year, $111 million contract, and decided to let Javaris Critterton, of all people, deter him from earning that contract fully. So this is just kind of a murky situation. I don't want to say that this is going to be a doom and gloom year like most of our fan base is. I know a lot of people are kind of turning away from the situation because it really doesn't feel right. It doesn't really bring you much hope. It doesn't really bring you much happiness. I know a lot of people are not big fans of Deshaun Watson, the person. But I do think us as fans have done the best that we can to put our personal judgment aside, especially, those first 2 years that he was here. Obviously, the 6 games in 2022 didn't give you that much hope. But in 2023, right before he busted the shoulder, we were 6-3, and we were coming off of the biggest win in possibly franchise history after we had beat the Baltimore Ravens in M&T Bank Stadium, 33-31. That fantastic second half comeback that we had, where Deshaun was 14 of 14, I might add, before busting that shoulder up completely. So I think we did the best that we could. Obviously, 2024, the start of it was an absolute disaster. We were 1-6 during that home game. That you get the second ACL or second Achilles tear. So I just think this is going to be an experiment. I do want fans to try to exude some type of patience. I get it. I understand with a guy that is making this much money. patience should not be in our vocabulary for his ass whatsoever.
Right.
But at the same time, I really do want people to not get too flustered by this. This is a early season decision. Things can change. Possibly he might play well, and if Todd thinks that he's playing worse than what he expected, I'm sure he will be able to make a decision for himself and pull the trigger. But overall, man, I want this to be a great year. We do have some depth issues. However, we still do have a considerable amount of talent to make a leap. I don't want to go too far and say postseason, but with 5 wins, I do believe there is a way to go up from there. So that much I will say positive. And that's it for me, man.
Hey, I'll take it, TK. I don't know how I can follow that. You know, I think the only positivity we'll probably hear around this quarterback room and everything else for the next 5 hours, to be quite honest with you. I guess my final thoughts are just, like TK said, try to find some positivity in some of the young offensive weapons. Some of the guys you can rally around that defense, post Myles Garrett, what Schlesinger, Campbell, Ward, Graham, Verse, what those guys look like, and kind of just try to find the wins. That's what I've done when, unfortunately, the guy that is at quarterback, and that's Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to find some wins elsewhere, and we'll get through this together, Cleveland. We always do. So that's where we're at, man. But hey, TK Dandridge, the one and only, of course, with you, with me, with all of you. This has been a legal formation. I've been filling in for Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. Again, that's TK Dandridge. Am I right? You're right. Everybody's right. This is a legal formation here on the Inside Edge Network. Do not worry about finding something to do tonight. You know it's Monday through Friday, the evening stream, the Daily Spiral with Autumn Chisholm, and Double A Anthony Alford with her tonight, starting at 8 p.m. on Filter with Kyle Cornell at 9, Inside Edge Prime Time at 10 with Chad and I, and 11:30 to 1, Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. We appreciate all of you. Make sure you stay locked in at Inside Edge Net, InsideEdgeNetwork.com, and download the Inside Edge Network app on Roku. We will see you guys next time, evening stream coming up in just 23 minutes. How about that?